your face, but you wouldn't even looking for it. Yeah.
All right, good people, you back with yet another episode of Goldmine Mondays. I'm your host, Billy Slum, and today is a super special episode for me. And I feel like the way that the Most High has been working, he's been like aligning me with people that were very important to my beginnings. And today's guest is definitely pivotal to the beginning of a Billy Slum. Most people knew me back then as Greedy, but it's Billy Slum. So it's Goldmine Mondays. We're going to get into my guest, but first I always got to give you the gold nugget of the day. And the gold nugget of the day was provided by our guest just now. So he says the gold nugget of the day is going to be, you can't keep what you have if you don't give it away. And that's deep. You can't keep what you have if you don't give it away. That's deep, man. Also, today's episode is sponsored by Bare Essentials Clothing. We will be popping back out, so stay tuned for those links, and when you can, jump in the description to order the merch and all that good stuff, too. But today's guest is none other than the legendary, iconic Mr. George G-Money Willis. Thank you for stopping by, my brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people know the name, but they don't really put the face with the name because it's so iconic, like through so many eras, like through, you know, anybody that was somebody that came through middle Georgia, you kind of had some type of connection to that in some way, form, or fashion, man. So we just wanted to take today's episode and give you your flowers for all that you accomplished and all that you are, especially to me personally, because a lot of people know I started with him with, of course, whole GHWP and all of that.
Yeah.
This man was the pusher behind a lot of that. So again, I attribute that to him. Shout out Bad Boy, shout out Lock Dog, shout out the whole crew. But this guy was pivotal to my humble beginning. So we gotta salute you though, man. We'll get into all of that, man. But first and foremost, I always open the show and I always ask everybody, where did you fall in love with what I call this thing of ours? And I call it this thing of ours because the arts and being involved in the arts and in the culture and music culture, entertainment in any form of fashion, either you in it all the way or you out. You're not messing with it at all. So what was that moment for you when you fell in love with, I guess, what I call the arts? What this thing about?
Well, my brother-in-law was a DJ, and I just used to like going and hanging around him, you know, and just watching what he was doing. And it's always intriguing to see people have a good time. And just seeing people partying and doing the right thing. And I saw people that struggled turn their life around through music and entertainment. You know, opposed to being out there doing all the wrong stuff. I realized that I could have a good time clean and sober.
Yeah.
If I wanted to. It didn't have to be about drugs and alcohol. Although a lot of times alcohol was involved. You know, some people can drink successfully. I chose not to. I'm here all the time.
I mean, you got a backstory behind that too. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I have to tell you a little bit where I came from. I grew up with Martin Luther King kids and Ralph David Abernathy. I was in that neighborhood. Right. And our parents were so busy trying to live the American dream and provide that life, they didn't spend a whole lot of time with us. So, you know, when you're not happy at home and getting the love, I wasn't abused, but I wasn't getting a lot of hugs and kisses and all that. So I started looking outside my house for that. You know, and we started smoking weed and drinking, and I was young. Actually, they were a lot younger than me, and they were blow me shotgun off weed and give me alcohol, and they thought it was funny. But when I grew up stealing their money, they didn't think that was funny.
Are you talking about from your parents?
From, no, my sisters and the neighborhood. My parents would study working and doing what they were doing.
For sure.
They didn't even know all that was going on.
So you was on the low.
I was on the low on this, and I was young, and, you know, so I learned at a very early age that I could entertain people and get what I wanted from them. You know, so I just started, you know, being nice to people and saying what they wanted to hear so I could get what I wanted. you know. And then my mom and dad got a divorce when I was 15, and my dad was the disciplinarian. My dad was a command sergeant major in the Army.
I already know what time that is.
He didn't play.
Yeah.
But when he left, it was party time. So
Wow.
things went kind of crazy. So, but then I met some friends that I went to high school with. Actually, they were older than me. And he had a club called 559 in the West End. You remember?
People know that. 559 ATL, come on.
Yeah.
We know that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the owner was clean and sober. He owned the club, but he wasn't drinking. He wasn't smoking. And I was amazed by that you could be in that environment and not
partake.
Yeah, it was two types of people, you know, in that environment. You could have a good time, go to concerts, go to clubs, go to parties, and you don't have to get intoxicated, out of control.
Yeah.
You know, so I started going to 559, and actually how I got the name G-Money, I was selling cars, and I would go to 559 after work with a suit and tie on, and Bruce would see me, and he would say, "Look at G-Money. They got," because I was the only one in the club with a suit and tie.
Yeah.
And so he started calling me G-Money, and that's how that happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but it was me and Bruce.
Don't you skim over that, man. So so first and foremost, you said you grew up with the Martin Luther King's children.
Yeah.
So these are personal friends of yours.
Yeah, Dexter King was a year older than me. He went to, he graduated with my sister. Ralph David Abernathy lived a few doors down. You know, Andrew Young's kids and Herman Russell, Jerome Russell. We used to shoot basketball behind their house and all that.
This is iconic, bro.
Yeah.
This stuff that I didn't know. So, man, you got a lot of history, man. And then you just said, like, you were named by D. Bruce, which is one of my favorite comedians.
Yeah. He started calling me G-Money because I would come into the club and the only one would be in there with a suit and tie on. So he was like, "Look at G-Money."
And it's crazy that you mentioned that you developed the skill of I guess that what we would call in these days is the talk game, right? So you developed the skill of learning how to talk people to get what you wanted, which would ultimately inadvertently be a skill that you would use later on in life. For a better purpose.
Absolutely.
So have has that crossed your mind?
Yes, absolutely. Well, before that part happened with Bruce, after my dad left, I started doing drugs pretty heavy. And I started smoking crack, man. I went down to like 98 pounds, wearing the same clothes for weeks at a time, and it got bad.
Yeah.
You know, and then I went into treatment. I went into treatment several times. Actually, my oldest sister went first, and I saw her life change. So I started trying to change, but then my mom died. My mom was my greatest enabler.
Yeah.
You know, when she died, nobody else would put up with me.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a choice. I was homeless for a while. And one day I woke up in the crack house and I just started crying. I was like, man, how did I get here?
Right.
You know, and I started walking from Fulton Industrial all the way down Martin Luther King, I passed Hightower train station. I passed Martin Luther King's train station. I walked all the way to 5 Points. And when I got there, the guy was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, man, I can't control my life. I said, I don't know what to do. I said, I need to get some help. I said, but I don't have any money. Can I get on the train? And he let me on the train. And I remember he said, it was December 21st, 1988.
Wow.
And he said, you better get some help because your Christmas present could be a body bag.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, and I got on the train and I rode to Georgia Regional. And I was going to play crazy to see if I could get. But she was like, "No, you got to go back to Grady. They got to admit you." And then she said, "But there's a new treatment center around the corner. It's about a couple of miles from here." And I was like, where? And I walked to that treatment center and I sat in the lobby. Some of the ladies in there knew who I was because I had been in and out. But they had to see me. They had to interview me. And I went into the counselor's office. And I remember sitting there And the lady, she had a picture of her son on the desk, and he had a blazer on. He was standing by a brand new red Camaro. And I said to her, I said, is that your son? And she just, yeah, she lit up. And for some reason, everything that I had took my mama through, everything that had happened bad, just kind of came out. I mean, just, I collapsed. I was like, I'm not leaving. I don't care what y'all do. Y'all got to call the National Guard or whatever. I'm not leaving.
So you get it right.
Yeah. So they let me into detox. And I got really sick because, you know, when you're using drugs is like medicine. It protects you. It was December. It was cold outside. And when I got the drugs out my system, I caught the flu and I got really sick. Couldn't get out the bed for like 4 days. And then the lady came in, the nurse said, you got to get out this room. You can't spend the rest of your life in the room.
Right.
And I got up and I went to the day room. And there was 3 guys sitting at the table. One guy, I sat on the couch. There was a TV and there was like a table with a kitchen. There was like a little kitchenette or something.
Yeah.
And these 3 guys were talking. One guy was like, man, I got to hurry up and get out of here because my girl going to leave me. Another guy was like, I got to get out of here because I don't want to lose my job. Another guy talking about, I don't want my car to get repossessed. But I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I had nowhere to go. I was like, I'm not leaving. And this is how God works. Then the documentary about Malcolm X came on TV. And I started watching it. And what amazed me is how Malcolm was a very, very smart kid growing up. And then he went to career day and they said, what do you want to be? He said, I want to be a lawyer. And he was like, no, pick something else. And finally, the guy said, well, why don't you be a carpenter? Because Black men don't become lawyers. And he was like, and that was a turning point in his life. After that, his dad was killed and his mom went, you know, kind of lost her mind. And he took to the streets, became a drug dealer, and he had dating a white girl, and that was not acceptable.
Right.
And he got caught and he got sentenced to 10 years in prison. So I'm sitting there just watching this. Then he was introduced to the Nation of Islam. And the guy got the dictionary and showed him what the dictionary said about Black, how dark and dirty it is, and how white is clean and pure. And, you know, and he realized that he had been taught the wrong things, you know, but what the guy taught him too, that he could change, you know, but it was going to take him.
Right.
You know, nobody could do it for him. Nobody could teach him. He had to want it as much as he wanted the drugs, as much as he wanted to be successful as a pimp. He had to want a successful, clean and sober life just as much.
Right.
You know, and he went through that and he changed. So then he came out and he became the leader for the Nation of Islam, which was a major change. But then when he went to Mecca and he came back, I think that was his ultimate change because it's not the color of your skin, it's the content of your character. You know, you got Black people that are crazy.
That's right.
You got white people that are crazy. Red people, you know what I'm saying?
It don't matter.
It don't matter. It don't matter. So he changed. And so then I realized that I could. So I got up and went into back into the room. And by that time, they gave me a roommate. The whole time I was there, I didn't have a roommate. But I left the day room, went to my room. I had a new roommate. And I started talking to him and told him what had I just saw and what was going on in my life. Now, he was another trying to recover too.
Yeah.
And so I grabbed the dictionary and I said, but I can't read, man. I said, I mean, and I didn't grow up like that, but, you know, after all the drugs, I said, I can't read. So he said, I can. So we started reading the dictionary And same thing Malcolm did, words and the definition, how the pronunciations and all of that. And then I stayed there for 7-day detox, 30-day inpatient rehab. I went to a halfway house for 4 months, and now I've been sober for 36 years.
That's what's up, man.
So, and it was so crazy, all that in Club Monies, I was sober.
Yeah, for sure. I never seen you take a shot of nothing.
Nothing. I didn't
You would make
smoke
sure we
nothing.
had it now. Now, young me, I was something else. And he would make sure we had whatever we needed, but I never.
As long as it was, I mean, because there were some people we had to put out. There were some people that just was. I've seen guys stand on the side of Club Money crying, begging me, "Gee, let me back in, please, let me back in." No, if you not, that's why Monies didn't have that kind of problem, because I didn't play that. You know, if you were going to be disruptive and not do what you need to do, then no.
Yeah, just act civilized, man. Have a good time, man.
Yeah.
Be civilized.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And we still had our problems, but we survived for a long time.
One of the longest running clubs in the Middle Georgia area, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
If not the longest.
Like that, anyway.
Because, people would change and come back with another name, but Money's was a
Money. Yeah.
It
was about the relationships. And this is, I told somebody else too, it wasn't, I see T.I., he don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
There's many shows I did with T.I.
Right.
But Jason Jeter, his manager, does.
Knows who you are.
Yeah. All Lil Wayne, all those people.
You brought some hell of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was about sharing the wealth too. So I never paid T.I. I never paid Jeezy. I never paid Lil Wayne. I gave them the door. So that day, everything made at the door, the cut line. So T.I. and them, Jason Jeter and Clay, they was phenomenal with it.
Yeah.
Like Clay would show up with the rap van a week before. They get a hotel room for the whole week. They're in the street with the flyers and boom, 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 boom. And then actually Jason would ask me, what would it take? And I say, give me 6,000. He would give me 6,000. But I would go to television, radio, flyers, posters. I spend the whole 6,000 on advertisement. So when T.I. pulled up,
it was a packed house.
Oh man,
them the days, bro.
Yeah. So, but what happened is I gave them the club pretty much. They didn't get the alcohol. Okay, but they got the cut line. They had
that cut line was infamous. If you know, that cut line was infamous.
Hey, and they had two cut lines. You had the cut line to cut the line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I think security was capping a little bit off of that, but that's another story.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they had the VIP on the inside. You had to pay to go in the VIP. Then when you got upstairs, you had to pay to get over the rope where T.I. was. They were killing it, man. They were killing it.
And the dope thing about it, man, we're gonna double back to how you got to make him. But the dope thing about it, you will bring all these people through, and then you will let the artists from the city open up. You don't really see that too tough no more. They want to, they want to bust these artists' heads who are trying to, trying to make a name for themselves. But you will humbly grant that platform.
Because it wasn't about, for me, it wasn't about that night.
Yeah.
It was about the longevity. It was about the life of the club.
Right.
Everything that
building on
yes.
Yeah.
So everything that night I gave away. Yeah. Made sure that local people, not the same all the time. I mixed it up, make sure they didn't have to pay, their entourage didn't have to pay. That was part of the deal with the artist or the artist management. But see, the real deal is all those concerts happened on Friday. But that Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday,
you just raking it up. Yes, sir.
That's
smart man. Hey, y'all, pay attention. Take some jewels from this, man.
Because you can only keep what you have by giving it away.
Back to the gold nugget of the day. I like this, man.
Yeah.
Masterclass, man. So yeah, let's rewind a little bit. So we know your story begins in Atlanta. What brought you to Macon?
Mike Roberts, that was on Mike and Carol in the morning on V103.
Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law was a DJ. Chico Renfro Jr. was the mix show DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody, I was already hanging out at 559, but I was selling cars, man. I went from being a car salesman to being a used car manager to being the finance director of Jim Ellis Volkswagen.
Mm.
So man, after I took the drugs out, after I took, you know, I mean, life was just opened up, man. It's like God gave me a new pair of glasses. I saw the world different.
Yeah.
And the world's like that now,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not, our younger people are not educated to that fact.
Right, right.
Dude,
Which is why your story is important.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think about the effort and the stuff they put into negativity, if they were to turn that around, we would be unstoppable.
That lens, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what I did. You know, but now my brother-in-law was the DJ on V103.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Roberts decided to leave V103. That's when Frank Ski took over.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike came down here and bought Foxy 107.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought like 4 different stations, Foxy 107 and Love 107 or something.
Love 101.
Yeah. He had like 4 different stations. Then you remember Dangerous D, Darren Fears came down here with him. You know, and all of that. And then Darren Fears told me, he was like, man, I wanted to get into the business and I had saved money by selling cars and all that kind of stuff. Tried to do something in Atlanta, but Atlanta was too expensive, the rent and all that.
Yeah.
And it was too competitive.
Yeah.
But I had met Dangerous D, and Dangerous D told me.
Shout out Dangerous D. Go ahead.
Yeah, he said, there's a doctor down here that's losing his butt off with a club and he's looking for a partner. So I came down here, and the doctor's name was Chester Little. He's passed away, God bless him.
Mm-hmm.
But I came down here, and I talked to Chester, and he was like, hey, yeah, man, I want to turn it around, blah, blah, blah. He said, how much money can you invest? I said, nothing. He was like, what do you mean? I said, my knowledge is money. I said, I can come down here and do. And I didn't give him any money, but I called Greg Street.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg Street called Lil Troy. Remember the first show we did? Big baller, shot caller, 25th, 20.
On the involved.
That was the first show, man, and it was off the chain. Then we did 8 Ball and MJG. We did Twister. You know what I'm saying? But then that's when you guys start coming in. I started bringing Locke and all you guys, because I mean, Fort Hill to the Day I Die is a classic.
Classic. We just talked about it.
Yeah, man.
We just talked about
that was a classic, dude. And we just started doing it.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately the doctor had some issues and I kind of separated myself from that situation. And you remember on Pioneer, it was the comedy club.
Comedy Cafe, wasn't it?
Comedy Cafe, yeah. And it went under, or the guy just decided not to do it anymore. And I talked to the owner of the building and asked him to let me get it. And I went in there and renovated the building.
So again, using that skill.
Yeah.
That talk game.
Yeah. And then CMD, I love CMD, man. He came in there and did his painting.
He did a big one in there, man.
Yeah, that boy is phenomenal. Yeah. So look, all the pictures, I would say 90% of all the pictures that was in Money's is in my garage.
Still.
When you go in my garage, it look like a museum.
Wow.
And all the pictures are signed by the artists.
We gotta do something with that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do something. That's like a monument for real.
Yeah,
man.
Absolutely. So things just change. But going back to Malcolm, how he changed, I saw how he went through that transition and I knew that first I had to stop drinking and drugging. I mean, what you see and what you feel when you high ain't real. That's not reality. So I had to stop that. And it's like God gave me a new pair of glasses and I started seeing life differently. And it just started to grow from there. And then when we left Poplar Street and went to Pinona, it was over, dude. Boom.
Yeah, when we went to Pinona, it's like it went through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of iconic times, man. Yes, your breakout moment. Of course, you've been hustling all your life, but your breakout moment was with the entertainment industry, right?
Yes.
So if G-Money could put on his dream production, concert or whatever, venue, whatever, who would be your dream lineup for a concert, and where would you have that show?
I think it will probably be something like CC Whining.
Mm.
Yeah. Something meaningful,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and being grateful and just how I would love to help people open their eyes to the gifts that God give us.
Mm-hmm.
I think we sometimes look at what we don't have and we miss what we do. We miss a lot of the blessings. Think about, we were just talking about Lot. If he was thinking about how bad things are, what he don't have, he wouldn't have the creativity he has to do what he's doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
1,000%.
now, and I'll say this, I am going to do something in Macon, and I've been thinking about how to do it, but it'll be more of an intimate setting.
Yeah.
I was at Capitol Theater today, and I would
Okay.
love it. It won't hold 250 people, maybe, but I would love to do an all-white party for 250 people and
That'll be
put
dope.
you and your wife and Locke and his wife.
Yeah.
It'd be a couple all-white party with a band. One of the artists that I work with is Lavelle out of Kansas City. Lavelle is phenomenal. And he's got a hit song out with Anthony Hamilton. It'd get a local band to perform and get somebody like Lavelle to perform and
I got a band in tow, man. So we can talk. We can talk off camera. We can talk off camera. I got the band.
So that's what I would really, really love to do.
For sure. Anything you want to promote before we wrap this thing up, man?
Well, you
named all the events that we got going already. So
I'm
gonna let you wrap it up.
Well, I got a lot of events coming up and stuff like that, but I think the number one thing is personal injury stuff and helping people. I fortunately have seen a lot of stuff lately where you got people just gouging people to get money, when they get in accidents and they're not educating the people.
Right.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not finna say, if I help you, I'm going to get you $100,000. I will educate you about how the insurance industry work and how, settlements work. Okay. And the real deal is, it's all based on what the coverage is.
Right.
And minimum coverage in Georgia is $25,000.
Yeah, I come from an insurance background, so if you need some education on that, holler at me and I point you in this direction.
I mean, because the bottom line is, how you gonna get $100,000 from 25?
Yeah,
I mean, if a person has 25, and I would say 75% of people got $25,000 worth of coverage. The doctor got to get paid. The lawyer got to get paid. You got to get paid.
Yeah.
So there's no way you finna get $25,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and you're definitely not going to get $1 million out of a $25,000 policy.
Right.
Now, there are people that get $1 million, but those are commercial cases. Like, what was his name? The comedian? Tracy Morgan. Got hit by a
Walmart truck.
Yeah, and he got like $6 million. Yeah. So it does happen.
Yeah.
But what I do is educate people and say, hey, if you get in an accident, call me. I'll give you, whether you use me or not, or use the people I know or not, you can call me and get information to be headed in the right direction.
That's what it's all about, man. Just sharing information, man. I never been one to gatekeep anything that I know. If people know, if you come to me, I don't mind giving you a plug or, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So personal injury is pretty much what I do. But I also have been able to convince the people that I work with to not, because they're settling hundreds of cases, so they're not making a whole lot of money off one, but they making hundreds of cases.
Right.
So turn around and take some of that money and put it back into the community.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. That's why we're here in Macon
That's awesome.
with the youth league, and that's why we're doing the car show. We did a Rick Ross car show, man. I gave away 1,000 iPhone chargers. And I made sure I gave them to kids. You know what I'm saying? For school purposes, because it'll charge a iPad and all that. We gave out. We always giving out T-shirts, hats, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So and then we do competitions. I like at the car show, and y'all can come. I got $2,000 worth of gift cards that we're gonna be giving out, and like if you. And I'll say, hey, did you see me on a podcast?
Yeah,
what was
Goldmine Mondays.
Yeah, look. What was the name of the podcast? And I'm telling y'all now, if you come to the car show, October 12th.
Tell them you seen them on Goldmine Mondays.
And you will get a $25 gift card just
straight
for
like that.
Goldmine.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, look, man, keep doing what you do, man.
Yeah.
We're proud of you. We salute you. And I wish nothing but the best for you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
All right.
So it's G-Money.
Bless.
It's Billy Slum. It's Goldmine Mondays. We gone.
Got a gold mine right in your face, but you wouldn't need looking for it.